There comes a time when everyone asks themselves, who would win between 300 Spartans and some zombies? And so Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator is here to answer these questions. So welcome to Epic Battle Simulator, a game with more superlatives you can wave a stick at. But basically this game is exactly just what I said. We're going to take some units, we're going to battle them. It's going to be awesome. Welcome to the frozen north, where 300 brave Spartans are in their formation, guarding this hill for whatever reason. Against them, 500 medieval foot soldiers, 500 Roman legionaries, and 500 heavy knights. Will 300, merely 300 Spartans be able to withstand this slaughter? Now you might have been asking yourself, how? Why? Why would I put only 300 Spartans against 1,500 adversaries? It's because I already know the Spartans are pretty strong. Now, can they take on, this many enemies? It does look like they're going to be able to. This is insanity. Look how far these guys are getting flung. Now the problem with the Spartans, that guy just got flung way over here. These guys are just like landing on this little hill here. So the problem is their reach is so good. Like nobody can even get a hit, especially in the flanks. Nobody can get a hit in. Because by the time they get close, they're already getting flung. Like the Romans don't have that sort of reach. Like once they get in there, it's not so bad. But it's actually reaching them that's... I mean, look how far they're thrusting. This guy over here, he's 3 ranks back. And he's reaching... Look how... So that ends up being the problem. I think the Spartans, they don't have very much health. But their defense is really good and their reach is amazing. And obviously their attack power. Look at that! That guy just went flying! And the heavy knights here, they have enough hit points to be able to sustain a fall. But the Romans don't have enough hit points. And the foot soldiers definitely don't have enough hit points to survive a flinging of that magnitude. Absolute mayhem. Taking a quick look at the score here, the Alliance has barely killed 50 Spartans. There it is, 50. And then by that time, the Spartans had already killed well over 1,000 of them. It's just insane how strong they are. One foot soldier is still alive here. And he's dead. But as you can see, the Spartans have more than been able to take care of this Incredible. And the final tally ends up being 78 Spartans were killed. That's it. So clearly, we're going to have to throw some more at these Spartans in order to defeat them. 300 brave Spartans. I've gone ahead and kept the foot soldiers, gone ahead and kept the Romans, gone ahead and kept the heavy knights. This time I have added 250 Persians, I don't know, they're just called Persians. I don't know, just Persian foot soldiers, I guess, I don't know. Followed by 250 dwarven warriors, clad in their heavy armor, with their fancy beards and what forth, and dual-wielding battle axes. Let's see how the Spartans do against this army. Now, I have a feeling the problem with the dwarves is going to be their lack of reach. You know, not to be discriminatory, but they have very short arms. So I don't know how they're going to do against that long reach that we've already seen that the Spartans have. We can see here some of the some of the Persians have intermingled with the heavy knights, or rather some of the heavy knights have for some reason run backwards. But look at this ocean of enemy. If you were a Persian right now, you would be shaking in your loincloth. I just noticed their feet. It's rather odd how their feet are a little weird. Or maybe it's just because they're on the hill. Yeah, they look normal from this side. Oh, it looks like a Spartan has already fallen. Well, we'll see how this new alliance of man and dwarf does against these 300 brave souls. A few hours have passed, and as you can see, it doesn't look like this amount of enemy is going to be able to do anything. Well, the dwarves aren't really reaching the top of the hill quite yet. With their stumpy little legs, they're not really getting up there. I don't think we've had a single dwarf make it to the top. Oh, no, we got a couple of dwarves that have made it to the top here. But they've met the same fate as everyone meets. Yeah. That's about what I thought. Now, the idea here, and I understand what they're going for, they're trying to flank the Spartans here and try to, undo them by making them break their famous phalanx formation. But it doesn't look like it's working. The Spartans are too disciplined. They're too battle-hardened to fall for such tactics. Now, you might be hearing some avalanche, some rocks falling in the background. I believe there is, if you go down this canyon here, this map is pretty cool, actually. There can be some rocks that fall. It might be on this side. I'm not actually sure, but there are rocks that fall from somewhere around here. And if you put your armies in the middle of this little path, they can get crushed by falling rocks. But anyway, let's get back to what we're doing. It's 4 in the afternoon. The sun is setting in the background. And we're facing a similar result as last time. Look at this pile of bodies that these poor dwarves are having to climb just to get into the fray. No wonder they're not doing so well. They're already exhausted by the time they get there. We still got a couple of Romans that are alive and a couple of Persians, but it doesn't look like it's going to mean anything in the end. These Spartans are too disciplined. Although we did shave off a lot more this time than we did last time. And again, it seems like the Roman, the Persian, Spartan left flank takes care of their area faster than this side. I wonder why they keep attacking from this side rather than the other side. Oh, we got one heavy knight here who's psyching himself up before he goes in for one last charge. Now you can see the Spartans, they're very disciplined. They won't break formation. This is what makes them so deadly. There you have it, folks. Team Spartans is victorious once again. They did break 100 this time at least. 139 were killed, but not quite half. Alright, we're going to have to throw some even bigger at them. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And the alliance of man and dwarf has called upon what used to be a foe in hopes that they're able to defeat the Spartans. That's right. We have here 300 orcish warriors that have been summoned to see if they can turn the tide of battle. Now, the orcs are really strong. Like, man for man, they're probably one of the strongest infantry units, melee infantry units in the game. We'll see if they are enough to turn the battle in the favor of the alliance here. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And in order to take this hill, we still don't know why we're trying to take this hill. But in order to take the hill, we've had to call upon the orcs. And immediately the foot soldiers, which are, I guess, the fodder, the cannon fodder. So the idea here is that the foot soldiers are gonna whittle down the first few ranks, followed by the Romans. Just tire out these Spartans, so that the beefier units, your heavy knights and your orcs, can get in there and clean up after the Spartans are already tired. That's the idea here. Now, so far, it doesn't look like any of the orcs have managed to get up the hill. But once they do, we might start seeing some of these guys start falling a little faster. Like, you can see on this side, they are starting to outflank them a little bit, forcing some of these guys in the back rank to actually engage in battle. Now, we don't usually see the guys in the very last rank actually having to do anything. Like, this guy, I don't think he's ever broken a sweat once in his life. He's just been hanging out. Now, I've thrown in one final little twist. A horde of zombies is coming in from the rear. Now, this horde of zombies, though, is friendly to the forces of the orcs. So, by the time they get up here, well, I was kind of hoping that by the time these guys are pretty slow, and I was hoping by the time they got to the Romans, I mean the Spartans would have already taken care of most of the enemies here, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So my epic scenario didn't quite work out like I wanted it. But the zombies are coming, and the thing with the zombies is if they kill you, you turn into a zombie yourself. So every time they kill someone, they double, well, they increase their own number. They're not the smartest in the world. They're zombies after all, but it does look like we're actually doing a lot of damage in this time. I feel like this might be the time the Spartans finally lose, and we're able to take the hill. It's about 5 in the afternoon, and it's only fitting that when the sun starts to set is when the first of the zombies start making their way to the front. Ah, there we go. We got our first kill. And there, that guy turned into a zombie. But he immediately got slaughterified. Now we're making some progress here. Now here is where things are really interesting, because the orcs have managed to surround the Spartans on their left flank. And they're actually having to break their formation. And they're not all able to focus fire on the same people. So you can see this left side is starting to quake and quiver a little bit. Not so much on the right. The right is still standing strong. Oh, this could be it. This could be the time. The mountain of bodies is piling up. But the Spartans are still hanging in there, and I think we've reached the point where I am no longer thinking that the Spartans are going to lose. I think all the zombies are dead. Again. We have a couple of Romans left, but no zombies remain. This is insanity. I can't actually... Well, I can't believe they're really strong and disciplined. We've said this before. But it's hard to imagine. Just incredible how many units these Spartans are able to withstand. That's it. Unbelievable. Took 12 hours, but they went ahead and killed all of the enemy. They only lost a little over half of their guys. All right, I'm gonna throw one last monkey wrench into this machinery. See if we can get these Spartans to lose. Now I've switched it up a little bit. Instead of throwing sheer numbers at the Spartans, the Alliance has gotten smart, and has changed up their tactics. They are now doing spears against spears. They have their own spearmen lined up against the hoplites of the Spartans here. Spear against spear. After that, the shock troops are going to come in. The dwarves. The Persians are next. Followed by the Romans. Followed by the heavy knights. The orcs are still bringing in the rear. And I've got a little surprise for the Spartans down there in the woods. That'll be for later. Let's begin! Now the idea here is fighting fire with fire. The spearmen here are going to be able to poke at the Spartans just like the Spartans have been able to poke. And already we're seeing some deaths here. Already the tactic is beginning to work. I like how the spears disappear if you get too far. Now from the Spartan point of view here, you see the orcs coming in. That's a pretty cool sight. Now we're already seeing some Spartans starting to fall here, as this idea is working out pretty well. The front is getting occupied by their own problem. They can't reach. A couple of doors are breaking through the lines and kind of screwing everything up. But yeah, the range is what really it's really saving the spearmen here, because they're able to withstand some of these thrusts. Ah, yes. In the background you can see the secret weapon that this alliance has employed. I think it's 25, might be 20. 20 giant ogres with their ball and chain. They're morning stars. Or are these they're mauls? Flails? Morning stars? Morning stars are, I don't know. Ball and chain. Spiky balls, chains, spiky shield, spiky helmet, spiky shoulder pads. Whatever the case may be, these guys are angry. They haven't fed, and they're hungry for Spartan blood. They're pushing their way forward. They've already like shoved so many guys aside. Look how they just slide on in there. Now the spearmen have pretty much gotten bushwhacked here. Now the problem with these ogres is that they do splash damage. You can see they're already doing a lot of death and destruction here. This might be the time. We might finally have seen the end of the Spartans. Overwhelmed by just the brute force of the orcs here. Ogres, I say. Oh man, the ogres are starting to drop like flies. But it looks like it was enough. It looks like they did enough damage, and the Spartans are getting absolutely hammered here. I might have put in too many ogres. But it looks like the ogres are exactly what... The combination of the ogres, I think, and the spearmen completely overwhelmed the opposition here. Maybe I should have tried it with just the spearmen without the ogres first. Because this was, look, they're just killing multiples at a time. This is an absolute destruction. I think the ogres are a little overpowered. Well, it was about time. It only took how many thousands of units to finally defeat. Wow, they didn't do very much at all this time. I think these ogres just really, they did the business. I didn't think it would be this one-sided. I think, yeah. Well, you know, tactics work this time because I know I've put ogres up against Spartans before, and they didn't do this much damage. I wonder if it really was the spearmen that really turned the tide here. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator. They killed a bunch of the ogres too, though. I mean, once they broke through, though, it wasn't looking good. But next time we'll come up with some different scenarios, and we'll put up some different battles. I've downloaded some modded units, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, that kind of thing, so we can have a lot of fun with this. But thank you for joining me for this episode, and I'll catch you guys next time.